Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, February 26, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass, and I wrote this show last night, and I find it ironic that it comes out today. A lot of social media influencers are being paid to call Candace Owens an evil demon. And the name of this show is Cover Up and Psyops. And I wrote this show last night, and you can see the psyops going on and the cover-up going on for the assassination of Charlie Kirk, child sex trafficking by the government, raping children by the government, so on, so forth, etc., etc. So I want to start the show early tonight. I was watching so many podcasters and doing so much research. I thought, let me go ahead and start the show before I go too deep down a rabbit hole and have more than 30 minutes worth of information to share, which I'm going to try to put this in 30 minutes. First of all, the United States of America has been nothing but a facade, a sham, a fake, just a big production put on by the media and corrupt government officials to psychologically and emotionally manipulate us into believing that we can't function without them, that we the people cannot go to work, provide for our families, do our jobs without a satanic occult of pedophiles stealing our money, raping our children, and laughing in our face. That's what they have done. So we can go through the psyops for decades. The moon landing, psyop to convince everybody that America was so great. 9/11, psyop. Even though, now I'm not saying these events didn't happen. The moon landing did not happen. That was filmed in a studio. I've done research. It's all fake. That was just to make people believe in America and the government and, morale, if you will. But 9/11 did happen. I mean, planes flew into the buildings came down, but it didn't happen because terrorists did it. It didn't happen because some Middle Eastern people with box cutters took over planes and flew them into the building. No, our own government did that. It was an inside job, and it was done for a psychological operation to convince the American people that we need to give up all of our freedom, all of our liberties, so the government could control us, because our safety is more important than our liberties and freedoms. That was a psyop. Charlie Kirk was a psyop, and he was assassinated. Make no mistake. But he wasn't assassinated because of something he said or did. He was assassinated because they wanted us to understand that if you go against them, speak about God, and stand for something other than what they stand for, which is pure evil, they'll just assassinate you in front of the whole world. That's pretty much what the intent was. Because let's be honest, Charlie Kirk could have been assassinated anywhere. They could have blew up his car. They could have got him on an airplane. They could have done that anywhere. They chose to do it as a public spectacle to instill fear into we the people, so we would shut up and go away. The same reason people are taking money all over social media, podcasters included, to say Candace Owens is a demonic scumbag. I believe that's what they're calling her. Demonic scum. This is from Dan Bongino, by the way, who worked in the FBI and covered up child rapist. Let's make that clear. Candace Owens speaking the truth about the assassination of her friend Charlie Kirk makes her demonic scum. But Dan Bongino, who worked for the FBI, allowing children to be eaten, raped, tortured, abused, and trafficked, and covering that up, well, then Dan Bongino must be the good guy in the situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. Everybody knows the Island Boy files are being covered up. It is obvious it's a cover-up. And that's the reason this show is called Cover Up and Psyops. The United Nations deemed the United States of America, per the Island Boy files, guilty of crimes against humanity. You know who else has crimes against humanity? The Oompa Loompa Tiny Hats gang. That's right, the Oompa Loompa Tiny Hats Gang, Crimes Against Humanity. And how many times has BB been in the White House this year? 7. Isn't that ironic? There's only 2 countries on planet Earth committing crimes against humanity on a mass scale right now, and they're both connected. So let's be clear on the trafficking of children, which, by the way, brings me to my next point. It is day 1631 of my son being a victim of child sex trafficking. And I presume my son is dead. That's what I've been told numerous times by different law enforcement organizations, from Capitol Hill to, who else told me that? Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. That State Judge Kelly Hansen, who 1,631 days ago kidnapped my son and stuck his dick in my son. This guy has murdered, raped, tortured, and sold thousands of children over his 16-year career. 16 years worth of children victims because of this one man. Yeah, that's fact. That's my son who was murdered by that man. That's Grayson Bass. He was 7 years old when he was kidnapped, violently sexually assaulted, and I haven't seen or heard from him since 2021. And I'm told he's dead, according to Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. They actually said Donald Trump ate my son. And Capitol Police Intelligence called me in 2024 when I was in Grand Junction, Colorado, to tell me, Mr. Bass, your son is dead. Stop calling. That's what I was told. So that's where we are as a nation. So let's go over a few things. Let's look at Kash Patel in front of Congress, and it is a felony to lie to Congress, by the way. Kash Patel said that Jeffrey Einstein didn't traffic anyone to anyone. There was no trafficking at all. And now we see that's all it was. Completely was trafficking. Pam Bondi is more concerned about the stock market than the sex trafficking of children. And she's a woman. I want you to think about that. Here's the deal. I would expect less compassion from a man over a woman when it comes to children, because women go through the process of growing, nurturing, and giving birth to the child. And that kind of bond, the 9 months of maternal nourishment and the maternal development of the baby, and then the process of childbirth, which I could imagine would be unforgettable. I would never imagine a woman to have such detachment to children as Pam Bondi, Caroline Leavitt, Kristi Noem, these people up here covering for this child rapist and this pedophile. Like, it's unbelievable to me. It truly is unbelievable. So, and here's the deal, like Lex Wexner. It's funny I say here's the deal. My boss says that all the time now. I've caught on to it. Words are contagious, I guess. Les Wexner was deposed a few days ago, maybe last week. And he said he was the victim. He was conned by Jeffrey Einstein. That's what Les Wexner says. An elderly man who raped children claims to be the victim. That's the mentality of these people. I mean, these people are just a level of evil and sick that I never knew existed. I can't believe we share DNA with these people. I don't think we share DNA with these people. I really don't, because I can't even wrap my mind around behaving like these people, let alone doing it on a national broadcast in front of the whole world. There's no way. There's no way. The contempt to actually say that, the contempt for us to think we're so stupid. He's the victim. The man who raped children is the victim. Explain that to me, please. So, and then we have 50 pages of the files missing. that all pertain to a 13-year-old girl claiming that Donald Trump raped her when she was 13 years old, forced her to perform oral sex on him. She bit him. He punched her in the head and kicked her out. Forced a 13-year-old girl to perform oral sex on him. He's in his 40s, I would guess, around 40. And when she bit him, punched a 13-year-old girl in the head after forcing her. What kind of human being does that to a child? And then has the audacity to be president of the United States and claim that he's totally exonerated? She has photos. She has 4 interrogations by the FBI, including testimony from an eyewitness that was there. All of this is documented, and nothing's happened. And this is the guy who said it's all a Democratic hoax. The kids who were raped, murdered, and sold must have been Democrats. I didn't know children affiliated with a political party. I didn't know much about politics till I was probably late 20s, early 30s. I wasn't worried about it. I was too busy living life, having fun, hanging out with my friends. I didn't care what was going on in Washington, D.C. Who cares? So, speaking of Democratic hoax, and this is where we're going to get into the psyops, because there are so many psyops being played right now from podcasters, intelligence agencies, all in our media, propaganda all through our media. 9/11 was a psyop. Charlie Kirk was a psyop. And what I'm saying by psyop is the intent. The intent is psychological manipulation over a mass amount of people at one time. One event to manipulate the minds of millions of people. In order to manipulate the minds of millions of people, you need a catastrophic event that will captivate all of those people. 9/11 captivated the whole country. Charlie Kirk captivated the whole country. And once you get them shell-shocked or traumatized, then you start trying to manipulate their mind. Start trying to play mind games with them because they're vulnerable. They're weak. They've just been in shock or traumatized. It makes them more malleable. Their mind's more malleable. So I've been watching videos of Trump since Butler, Pennsylvania. And I had my doubts when it happened. 8 shots fired off from an elevated position, 8 shots, and the president got grazed on his ear. Out of all 8 shots, 1 grazing of the ear, no body shots, no nothing. And I'm gonna be honest. I think the attempted assassination of President Trump was a psyop. There's no scar on his ear. Look at his ear. I've studied that ear. His right ear, in numerous videos, press conferences, speeches, time and time again. I have looked at that right ear and I see absolutely no markings of any type of injury. Now, the ears are very sensitive and they don't grow back. Ask Evander Holyfield what happened after Tyson bit his ear. Yeah, he was missing a chunk of his ear for quite a while. I think he did plastic surgery or something maybe to repair it. I don't even know if it's repaired to this day. Let's look and see together. But the ear just doesn't grow back like that. And a bullet from a high-powered rifle hitting your ear, it would leave a scar, no doubt about it. There you can see Evander Holyfield's ear. Do you see the damage still there? How it's missing a piece? Right in there. Do you see that? That's from a bite. That's from the infamous Mike Tyson bite of the Evander Holyfield ear. He's still missing a piece of his ear to this day. And you're telling me Donald Trump got shot in the ear by a high-powered rifle? And there's not a mark, not a scar? It's a psyop. It was all a psyop to generate support so we would vote for him to get him what he wants, which is power and control. That's all these people want, power and control. Psyops. And I'm going to be honest, Hollywood or Broadway puts on a more theatrical production than the United States government. The intelligence agencies, the media, the mainstream media, Pedophile Hill, these people put on a production that surpasses Broadway, it surpasses Hollywood. The theatrics are unbelievable. And here's the truth. Our government is incompetent and incorrigible. There's no help for these people. They are incompetent. They're good at nothing but lying and stealing. They are con artists. That's all they do is get in front of a camera and lie and try to convince us that they need millions of our dollars because they're smart and they know what to do with it. Yeah. And Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, his qualifications are he wrote a children's book and was a podcaster. He wrote a children's book and was a podcaster. Now he's the director of the FBI. No wonder the FBI can't do anything correctly. No wonder. No wonder, because it's fake. In the words of Candace Owens, fake and gay. The FBI is fake and gay. The CIA is fake and gay. Homeland Security is fake and gay. Have you seen how many costumes Kristi Noem has been caught in? Construction worker, farmer, cowgirl, border patrol agent. She's been in so many freaking costumes. It's ridiculous. Now we're going to go through how intelligence has infiltrated our podcasters, and this is why I wanted to do this show early, because I was just sitting and watching Nate at Valhalla, and if you get a chance, check out Nate at Valhalla's show today about all the people taking money from either TPUSA, our greatest ally, or the Trump administration to call Candace Owens a demonic scum. So we have Tim Pool, Gary from Paramount, Joe Rogan, Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Michael Franchese, all of the Binder bunch, Liz Wheeler, all of the group that was up there to get the binders back in April or May, whenever they got the binders. All intelligence agents, all just psyops, all fake and gay, all take money to be a puppet. These people are not authentic. These people have the compassion of a cinder block. They are dead souls willing to do anything for $1. It's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling that our nation has been bamboozled like we have. The ignorance. I don't know really who's more ignorant. The government or the people who believe these scumbags. You know? And they are coming out against Candace Owens, and all she's doing is telling the truth. Backing it up with facts and research and receipts. That's all she's doing. Telling the truth and backing it up with facts. That tells you how evil and corrupt these people are when they are this scared of the truth, terrified of the truth. What is the truth? I think we know what the truth is. The truth is our government hates us, we the people. They hate our country, and they serve anybody with money. Whether it's the cartels, whether it's Bibi Netanyahu, they don't care. They don't care. The lobbyists, Big Pharma, they don't care. They will serve anybody with $1, and we don't matter. We never did matter. The only thing we matter for is believing them to allow them to stay there safely and securely without us standing up for ourselves like we're doing now, speaking out. They don't like this. They don't want people speaking out to other people and trying to wake them up and get them to see the truth. They don't like that. They hate the truth. And they hate we the people. And before I close, we're going to read a Bible verse. And I just want to say the United States government is peddling propaganda and poisoning America. That's it. They're peddling propaganda. They're poisoning America. Poisoning our minds, poisoning our bodies, poisoning our souls. These people are empty, godless, soulless bags of flesh. They don't even have respect for themselves. Therefore, nobody respects them, and nobody respects us as a country because of these scumbags. That's the truth of the matter. And I want to point out one fun fact. Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and Trump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different presidential administrations. 7 different administrations at different times have all covered up for child rapists. Let that sink in. Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and Trump all covered up the Einstein files. That's 28 years, seven administrations, and some of them went for 8 years. Biden went for 4, Trump went for 4, so let's see, 8, 16, 24, 32, 36, 42, or 40, 44 years. Because Bush was in there for 8 years, Clinton was in there for 8 years, that's 16. The other Bush was in there for 8 years, that's 24. Obama was in for 8 years, that's 32. Trump had 4, that was 36. Biden had 4, that's 40. And Trump, we're at 41 years right now. 41 years. The President of the United States, the entire administration, from the Department of Justice to the intelligence agencies to Congress, have all been covering up for child rapists. And it's coming out now, and they don't want it to come out. This is the United States of America in 2026. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. And I don't anticipate on ever seeing my child again. I've been told numerous times he's dead. Murdered by the United States government so they could stick a dick in him. 7 years old, my son. Murdered by the United States government so they could stick a dick in him at 7 years old. This is the United States of America in 2026. Disgusting. Let's read our Bible verse. And I'm grateful. I might do another show later. I was reading in my book last night, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. I recommend that book to anyone. It's been 4 or 5 years since I read it, so I thought I'd reread it. And it's just got excellent advice, sound advice. You know, be careful what you put in your head before you go to sleep. Like me, every night, I read something out of my books, and I read from the Bible every night. And some people watch the news before they go to bed, and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale says you can have an ear full of trouble or a mind full of peace. You choose. I choose a mind full of peace. So let's read with 2 Thessalonians 3. We'll start at verse 1, and we'll see. Finally, brethren, pray for us that the word of the Lord will spread rapidly and be glorified, just as it did also with you, and that we will be rescued from perverse and evil men. For not all have faith, but the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen and protect you from the evil one. We have confidence in the Lord concerning you that you are doing and will continue to do what we command. May the Lord direct your hearts into the love of God and into the steadfastness of Christ. The Lord commands you to hate evil, speak the truth, and glorify his name. That's why every day I read a Bible verse on this channel. That's why every night I read my Bible. I listen to John MacArthur every day. And I tell the truth every day. And I fight for the truth. And this is a war on truth right now that we're going through. And I'm grateful, first of all, to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, I would not be right here making this video right now. I can guarantee that. Without Jesus Christ, I wouldn't be here. I'm grateful to Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Coach Colin, Mr. Letgo, Nate at Valhalla, and several other podcasters, Lionel Nation. All of these podcasters are out there, just normal people, making videos, telling the truth, trying to stand up for what's right. I don't know if these videos are going to be enough. I hope it don't come to what I think it's going to come to, but there are a lot of people grumbling and rumbling about taking action. And as bad as I hate to say it, it's probably going to come to that. I don't believe the United States government is going to humble itself and submit to the will of we the people. And I do believe it's going to take we the people in an uprising and a show of force as one to get this government to understand that this right here is the laws of this country. This right here. Not they are trash. They are scumbags, and we the people are done with them. We want this enforced. So I want to thank everyone for your time, your attention. I ask that you please share this video, like, and subscribe. I will either make another video later tonight, which I might just read from Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. You gotta arm yourself with positivity, with faith, with truth to sustain a positive mental attitude through all this chaos that our country is going through. So thank you, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good evening.